Well, hey again, everybody. This is Ed with another episode of Call Me Mr. Broadstreet. Today, one of the two legs at least is on with us, Tom Hunyady. Tom, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I get the fortunate spot of following LJ, so thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
How do
man.
you follow LJ? I mean, come
I
on.
know. As we're taping this, you know what? You don't follow. You just, you know what? We're gonna. It's
Yeah,
not really so
yeah,
much of an interview. See, it's live, folks, as we spoke about, but
yeah.
kind of more like just thoughts about the upcoming Beatles biopic in 2027.
Mm.
Some fest memories as well, just off the top of our heads, or any photos or anything like that. That we certainly have. So, for those that don't obviously know or may not be aware, Tom does the Two Legs podcast with Andy Nicholes, also part of the Talk More Talk podcast with Kid O'Toole, Ken Michaels, and Joe Mayo as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I missed anything else, but let me know if I did, my friend.
Oh, that's that. No, that's it, pretty much it in a nutshell. I also was fooling around with the movie channel for a while, but that's on hold for now. But hopefully, I'll get back to that later this year. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty much two legs and talk more talk and whatever else comes along. I mean, I love talking Beatles or solo Beatles, whatever you got. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, let's give it a go. So, as we were talking about before, too, definitely not so much an interview this time around, just kind of some thoughts. So, I think what we're going to start with is now we've got the Beatles 2027 biopic coming. My understanding, we've got it from four different perspectives: John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Sam
Right.
Raimi is going to direct. I don't think we've gotten much more
Oh, Sam
information.
Mendes. Sam Mendes.
Sam Mendes. Thank you, thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Sam Raimi. It's probably something else I may have seen.
Maybe he
Sam
had
Mendes.
Spider-Man on the mind.
Funny enough, I was actually watching something with that earlier today too. So, yep,
Yeah.
you got me, man. But no, just kind of figuring out, what the thoughts are. I mean, when I did a short video real quick, I kind of thought it could be great, maybe not, maybe somewhere in between. So I feel maybe a little bit hesitant. I'm not sure, but definitely want to get some of your thoughts and kind of like a back and forth dialogue to see what the thinking is.
Just thinking, why? We've already got something with all four perspectives with the Beatles anthology,
Hmm.
right? Um, and then that's our go-to right there. If we want to get our thoughts about what happened during certain points, we can always go back to the anthology and get all four of their thoughts during those days. But I mean, here's the thing: Sam Mendes, to me, fantastic director.
Hmm.
American Beauty, Road to Perdition, Skyfall, which is one of my favorite James Bond films. He did a great film a few years back called 1917. Um, I love that. I love that movie. So, very capable director. It will be interesting if he does do all four of these movies. Which one does better at the box office? Which thoughts get it'd be interesting to see everybody's what they remember and how they'll contradict somebody else's memories, and thoughts. And
Yep.
I mean that could be interesting, right? You get four different perspectives, which one is real truth, which one is re-envisioning, what will be. I mean, I guess it'll be fun that way. However, I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm not the biggest fan of music bios. However, there are some good ones out there.
Mhm.
There are some good ones out there. I love the Doors movie. I love La Bamba. So there's some good ones out there. This latest batch, not so much, but it could be interesting. But why?
Right.
We've
Yeah.
got all of their thoughts. We keep getting, Ringo and Paul keep bombarding with, Beatle questions, and they seem happy to answer them these days. But what else could they bring that they haven't already said, to a movie? What else is there left to say, really?
It's yeah, that's an interesting thought. I mean, I know, what you said about the biopics. I mean, you get the Doors, which is Oliver Stone's Doors, which may not be the most factual. It
Yeah.
is entertaining as heck. Val
Right.
Kilmer did an
Well,
amazing
all
job.
of them are not really factional.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there's some truth in them,
Yep.
right? But they're all pretty much Hollywoodized, if you want to say it like that.
Yeah, Ringo malapropisms going out and about here, the universe
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah, but no, that's, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, for me, it's like, I mean, I was hoping for Broad Street too. Kidding. Well, not really, but kidding. I mean, in all seriousness, it's like, okay, I get that you may be going for the Bohemian Rhapsody crowd or the Elton John biopic from a couple years ago. I've yet to see either of them. I've heard good things about them, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the Elvis one either. I mean, they've all done well at the box office, right? Okay. What's his name? One Best Actor for Bohemian Rhapsody.
mhm,
I'm forgetting the names right now, but his name, the guy that did Elvis. I mean, he was nominated for Best Actor,
yeah,
as well. So people have been having success doing these music bios, and it seems like they're on a roll right now. I mean, they're doing well at the box office, like I said. However, this is something special. The Beatles story is not. It's just not all black and white. It's which I have learned over the years. I thought, oh, it can't be that. It can't be that difficult to understand. But I mean, everything interweaves and connects and dissects, and I mean everything like that. It's just really. Listen, I don't envy Sam Mendes for the challenge that he's partaking in, but we'll see.
yeah, yeah. Well, they could always get Sam Raimi back on it too and turn it to a Spider-Man movie, but that's neither here nor there. But
Sam Raimi, I would like to see him do John's
origin
film
story.
for sure. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it is a lot of perspectives. I mean, let's project 3 years from now, whatever it is, assuming these come out, assuming that the green light has gone ahead. Okay, you're going to have more than likely two of the former members of the Beatles at the premieres, wherever they are. You may obviously have Olivia there, at least Sean there, publicly
right.
representing, John's estate. Certainly they would have to give their blessing. They already have in these preliminary stages,
Well, they
but
already have. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, yeah. As of right now, all the camps are involved with this project, or they at least given the thumbs up.
the Maca thumbs up. Yeah,
Yeah, the MAGA thumbs up.
yeah. I mean, it's
MAGA
I
thumbs
guess
up and the Ringo peace sign. That's all
yes.
good to
There you
go.
go. Yes, yes. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like for me, it's like I feel a bit hesitant. It's like like you said, it's a complicated story. You've got so many different perspectives. And you do have a lot of, I mean, already recorded material. Personally, I'd love to see anthology up to Blu-ray, 4K, whatever it is. Even prior to this,
Right.
if that's in the cards, I imagine. But it does. I've got some hesitancy. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
just do.
Well, we do because we know the track record of these bios, right? Because they're not really 100% factual, like you said, moments ago. I mean, he doesn't need to, talk to Ringo or Paul, right? Because he's already got all that stuff from the anthology he can go over. I mean, he doesn't have to really, dig. I mean, I guess there's going to be a lot of research involved. I'm sure there's a lot of archival interviews that he can that Sam can go over, or his team can dig into. But yeah, I don't envy him. But the question is why. I really curious why he felt he needed to do these four. I think it's cool that it's four.
Mhm. Yeah,
But if let's say the first one comes out and it doesn't do well, okay, so and it bombs at the box office, so that does that mean the other three aren't going to come out, or you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's almost like you got to release all four of them, like like the Kiss solo records, they all came out on the same day. It's
Yes.
like
What was that in
uh,
1976, 77, something like that?
78, yeah.
Oh, because 78. Okay, I'm not as up on my Kiss stuff as the Beatles and other stuff, but yeah. I mean, or the only other thing I could think of, maybe theatrical, but maybe on a streaming platform like a Netflix or
Yeah,
something like that. That's the
well,
same
that's
thing.
the thing. I mean, Sam Mendes is a theatrical director. I mean, it
Yeah,
would be a shame if these films went straight to streaming when a lot of these other past music biopics have done well at the box office. And
yeah,
it's the Beatles. I mean, let's face it. It's a big act, right? As
yeah,
Paul has said, we're a big act.
yeah,
So it's again, I mean, the word. I mean, I'm not going to judge it right now, just from what we've heard. I actually want to see it first before I judge it.
Yeah.
But again, it's still. I just ask why. Why do we need this? Why does Sam feel the need that he has to do this?
Yeah, all very valid points. I mean, I think the same when I was doing a short, a little while ago, kind of echoing the same thing. I do want to reserve judgment. I do want to go into it with an open mind. There is that
Yes.
little bit of trepidation at this point, but you're right. Got another year or two down the road when they're into production, into filming, we get a bit more information on the approach. It is a unique approach. I
Yeah.
can I can give it that.
I agree. I mean, getting the perspectives of four individuals, seeing how they're different, seeing how they rival, other perspectives from other movies will be interesting. But I guess that's it, really. I just thought maybe when I first heard this news, I was like, okay, maybe he's just doing four separate documentaries on each individual.
Hmm.
Not doing an actual live action film with casting actors to play those parts. So when I heard no, it's going to be actual movies with casting characters or whatnot, then I was like, I don't know about this. So
Yeah, I mean, actors, of course, you've got folks looking in. Are they going to get the mannerisms down? We've
right,
had better ones like what I would say two of us. They kind of got, for the most part, at least kind of the
right,
mannerisms and feeling down versus we'll go with
right,
Sergeant Pepper. But Sergeant Pepper's much more of the 1978 film, much more of a fantasy.
right.
They're not quite playing it
Oh,
straight.
definitely, yeah,
Still
I mean,
enjoyable. So
yeah, I mean, the only one that I've really appreciated over the years is Backbeat.
yes,
Um, you know, I haven't seen Nowhere Boy or whatever it's called. But
yeah,
I mean,
no,
those things
no,
don't really interest me.
mhm,
I mean, if I want to hear the story, I want to hear it from them. You know, as we've heard in like the anthology book or the anthology, miniseries, whatever. I mean, that's where I'm going to get that information if I want it.
yeah. Yeah, and it's I mean, also I got to think maybe they're trying to get to maybe connecting with that newer next generation as the multi generational panel on the the fest for Beatles
Right.
fans. We both got to meet in person, which was awesome. Kind of that very much that Gen Z, that millennial generation, even a little bit younger at that point, trying to connect them through that biopic and get more fans into the fandom.
That's very, very good, valid point. There's, getting the next generation interested in the Beatles music, and if there's any band worthy of doing four separate films on each individual, you know,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I love the Rolling Stones, let's say, and I do love a lot of their work, I couldn't see them doing, yeah. Well, with
no,
different,
I'm teasing, I'm
different
teasing.
opinions. Yeah, well, I mean, look, the Beatles are always
I
going
like the Stones. I like this. Yeah,
to,
I
yeah.
mean, I like the
But I
Stones.
mean,
I mean, I
I
love so
couldn't see
many.
like, yeah, I couldn't
Yeah,
see like,
who wants to see a Bill Wyman bio? Although there is a really good Bill Wyman documentary on Hulu that I think people will enjoy.
what is it? I haven't heard of it.
I don't remember the name of it, but it is on. It was last I watched it on Hulu, and it's
Okay,
about Bill Wyman. Apparently, he's like the holder of all things Rolling Stones archives. Apparently, he's got a big storage with all these Rolling Stone archive bits and pieces, and it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, do I really want to see a Charlie Watts movie? I mean,
as much as we love him, God rest his soul. No, I mean
yeah,
that wouldn't be his interest. Just Charlie kind of
right,
going, right. So what? What like one of those. That's the whole film right there.
right,
Roll credits. I mean,
exactly,
as
exactly.
interesting as
So
the interpersonal stuff is, yeah, exactly. But but speaking of, also, we got to meet, of course, at at the fest, so we could definitely go into some fest memories as well. I see you're wearing the sweatshirt I have got.
yes,
Repping the
hey.
two legs. Come on, man. I appreciate
Hey,
you
yes.
for that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, listen, I've told you before, I mean, how much I appreciate, you and your longevity of fandom of Two Legs and being you and Don Maley being the first, two people to really, encourage us to continue with the show and say, give your support for it. So for that, you will, always, you know,
Thank you.
be a friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
I'll take
yeah,
bribes and Broad Street items. You can send them this way. But
yeah, right,
all
yeah.
kidding aside, no. I mean, just when you guys were starting out and everything, of course, hearing it, it's about 10 years ago or so. Well, just about maybe
Oh,
10 years
that's like
ago.
8 now. I think 8
Eight
now.
now,
It's
yeah.
8. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, a couple more
It'll be
years. It'll be
8 in yeah, I think it'll be 8 in August or something
okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember that, we were talking about it and then all of a sudden we were just like I was like, okay, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this now. Because I just in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, when we put it out, someone's gonna put one out too. It's just like, and then come to find out there were 3 other people doing a Paul McCartney podcast. Um, when we dropped our first episode. So it was pretty funny to discover that. But we're still going, and love every minute of it.
Well, yeah, and just the growth process. I mean, both hearing at first and then seeing you go through the growth
Right.
process with David and with Andy,
Yeah.
and obviously, whatever directions the show will take in the future, kind of having that, being able to,
Yeah.
continue. There's a continuity there. There's a passion there. There's a fandom there. Obviously, your stuff. It's not just a cash grab, so to speak,
Mm.
or,
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely built out of fandom, out of love. We're just, Andy and I, or David and I mean, we're just 2 fans, wanting to talk about Paul. So, but then now with Andy, we've been able to grow, um, as he's been able to present the show on YouTube, and he's agreed to do the show on YouTube with me, which is what I originally wanted to do. But
Mhm.
David wanted to wear his pajamas while we recorded, and he didn't want to see any.
Yeah.
He didn't want anybody to see see him in pajamas. But I'm just teasing, David. Love you. Um, but uh, but we were happy to have you on the show. I mean, look, it's so great to have other people on the show that that love and respect Paul's solo career, and those are the fun episodes for me. And I mean, yeah, it's been also great to have musicians that have worked with Paul on the show, which is really cool as well. But the ones where we can really just talk, as fans, right? Like you and
Yeah.
others that have been on the show. I mean, that's really the joy of it for me.
Yeah, exactly. You're just 2 fans that made it very, very big. That's all.
Well, I don't know about big, but
But yeah,
but I'll tell you what,
it's all
yeah,
jokes like
yeah,
that.
but then yeah, I know, but then expanding, being able to expand into Talk More Talk, that's been, excuse me, that's been a lot of fun too. But I mean, we had we had Ken on, the Ken's on a couple times before we, then ventured out to doing, Talk More Talk. So, I'm really proud that, that show kind of like, was birthed out of 2 legs, if you will. Um, yeah, but I've always admired, they say in business, if you want to be successful, work with be successful in the field, work with people that are, successful in those fields, in that field. And I felt that Kit and Ken, well, both Kens are, so I mean, I don't know if I've gotten any better or
No,
any worse or whatever, since working with them. But it's absolutely been a joy. And then having bringing in Joe Mayo, a couple of years later, was great, or a year or two later, whatever it was. So
mhm. Yeah, it's tough to keep up with the chronology. It's like it's funny when someone else is
sometimes it
telling
is
you. Yeah,
right, because I tend to, once I'm done with an episode, that's it. I'm just kind of like, it's done now, onto the
yeah.
next project. So I don't usually go back and remember archive, dates and stuff like that, like some people can do. But that's just me.
Same. I mean, we
So
probably
did you have
need
a good time at the fest or what?
yeah. I did. Well, we probably need like I don't know, Mark Lewison to catalog all this stuff of ours, right?
Right.
Give him another job. I did. I now for me, I had a lot of fun because for me, the last in person one was in 2002, right? So when
Mm,
I went this time, it was only my second in person, and I'd done a couple of the virtual ones. I said, right, if there's any time I'm going to go back, this has to be the year. This has to be the time. First of all,
Yeah.
obviously meeting you, meeting Andy, seeing Joe and Ken again, meeting Ken Womack, obviously meeting, Lawrence Juber, Steve Hawley. I mean, the authors as well, Sarah Schmidt, meeting her, meeting Patty. Yeah, yep, exactly. Mine is over in the archives, but that is sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is
Yeah.
super sweet.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
I remember, and funny enough, my memory, if my memory isn't almost full and serves me correctly, I remember you going up to Lawrence, and it was just the funniest thing. He's just, "Hey, Tom," like you guys have known each other for
Yeah.
years.
Well,
Despite
I
that,
mean,
that would be fun.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool, especially, with the authors and some of the, musicians, that I've been able to talk to and stay friendly with because, we want to do them right as well. There's so many people that are given, what we do bad names, whatever. They're looking for that dirt, or whatever. We want to treat their careers, their work they did without Paul or with Paul just as equal. I mean, because what they did with look, Lawrence Juber played banjo on the Rainbow Connection. How freaking cool is that? You
That
know,
is,
one of my favorite childhood songs of all time. And he's the guy that
yes,
I think of, when you think of Rainbow Connection, you think of that banjo. And I just like when he said that, because I didn't know, because if you look on the album, I don't think he's on there. Or he is, but it doesn't say what
yeah,
it doesn't give the exact credits. But when he had said that, I was just like, I almost just started bawling because I was just like not expecting that. And then as soon as he said that, then my memory just goes straight to my youth, right? Watching that and then just loving that that song so much. But yeah, I mean their work, pre post McCartney deserves attention just as much as their work with,
yes,
McCartney. And that's what we want to do when we talk to these people, is when we were talking with Steve Holly at the fest, is like, look, man, we would love to have you on and talk about your whole career. I had just recently learned that he was the drummer on Balat, Julian's first album.
Too Late for
I didn't
Goodbyes.
know that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
video.
So,
It's funny, the stuff, and you know what?
yeah.
Funny, the Rainbow Connection thing. That's the one thing I forgot to ask him, and of course, who points it out? My father points it out. He goes, "Why didn't you ask him about
Yeah.
that?" I'm like, "Oh man, because
Yeah.
memory almost full. My brain just kind of went sideways. Anyway,
Yeah. No, I get it. And that's the thing, is because you only have so much time,
yeah,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're gonna. I mean, Juber is very, friendly with the time. I mean, he usually gives you an hour. I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot of time, right? But it's just like when you have like 50 questions you want to ask them, you got to go when you're like a half hour in, then you got to start going, okay, then you got to start thinking, okay, what am I going to ask him next? What's the more important questions that I need to get out? So,
yes,
so he's very generous with his time. It's just like, it's almost like you got to do a specific show. Like the second time we had him on, we just talked to him about the 79 tour. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So even then, we still had questions we didn't ask him because we just didn't have enough time, you know?
But you hit upon a good point with basically the entire career, and that's what I was hoping to do. Like I said, not just Back to the Egg, for instance, with him. Just my
Right.
memory. Not just I've had enough video, but it's like, okay, you were doing this before, you were doing this afterwards. What was
Right.
happening in between, that type of thing, and it was very generous. I love that. And I love
Yeah.
at the
Hmm.
fest you're getting to interact with people and interacting with these authors. With
Right.
Patricia, who did the Diary of the Beatlemaniac, Sarah doing the fan club, things like
Right.
that. It's just amazing to get those perspectives and across the generations, which I really was pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised by.
Yeah. I mean, I just met, Aaron Badgley here, who did the
Yes.
Dark Horse Records book. Great guy. I'm so honored that I wouldn't have. I mean, I knew about the book, but I'm thankful that he was there for me to meet him. Now, I mean, we're buddies now. We're friends.
Yeah.
He had an extra copy of the Coke bottle of McCartney 3, which I didn't have. So so he sold it to me. So at a good price. So now it's just like we're buddies now. So and it's just got it in the mail today. I was just listening to some of it earlier. And so it's the connections you meet. at these fests, which are great. Um, getting to know, I mean, meeting you for the first time in person. I mean, it was
Yes.
definitely, a great time. Meeting one of our friends from the show, Joan Borelli, who usually, she's part of the Fans on the Run
Yes.
group, right? That goes and travels with Paul. I mean, we've had her on several times, and hanging out with her was fantastic. Seeing Joe, seeing Joe again, and Ken and Kit, just hanging out with my buddies and everybody. I know I'm leaving some people out, but so sorry, but you know who you are, and believe me, I appreciate, and seeing people wear the shirt or the button, you know, that really just warms my heart, and
Or or the
you know
jacket.
makes it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I've seen you wear the Broad Street jacket. I mean, just like things like that, seeing what everybody bought, who got this and who got that. It's just like, I went into the market, and the guy was like, "Oh, I got some promo posters, Palm promo posters." I'm like, "Okay." And then, Joe ends up buying a couple of them, so it's just like, who got what. I mean, I got some cool McCartney, badges or pins, whatever you want to call them. I was missing the yellow Ram vinyl, so somebody had that, so I was able to pick that up. And you did extremely well too, didn't you, at the market?
Yeah, I maybe overdid it a little bit. So one of my side quests has to take a little bit of a side quest as well. That quest for
Mhm.
George I'm working on. Spoiler alert for
Right,
folks when that does come up. But I
right,
mean, for me, it was a whole bunch of Broad Street stuff that
yeah,
the one vendor in particular, I'm actually become friends with him, Ray, I believe, with the Beatles memories.
yeah,
Knows,
okay,
and the thing was conversing with him, he knows his stuff to keep it family friendly here. He knows
right,
his stuff. He knew exactly what I was talking about, this, that. He goes, "Hey, when I worked in Record World, I've got a couple of those big promo things. It's like the record, but quite a bit bigger. When you're
right,
at Phantom across the store back in the day when record
yeah.
stores did such things, I saw 5 of them there. I'm like, right, I'm buying the remaining 5. No questions
Give me
asked.
all
Not even.
five of them.
And the thing is,
Hang them up.
that's also the danger because you're not really budgeting, so to speak. Shannon print, one of Shannon's prints, I'm going to showcase on this show. It's over in one of the rooms over here. It's a 1989 McCartney spray painting, is what she does. So she signed it as like a test print. I've got her signing the autograph and on the back. It's
Right,
really cool, and I do want to get that framed professionally, of course. But like stuff like that, but not just that, just more also, like I said, meeting people. I feel like now we've been friends for years. It's like now
yeah,
just in person
yeah,
solidifies it. With all the
yeah,
people, wonderful people.
yeah, yeah. I mean, now we're getting ready. We're making plans for the Chicago Fest in August. So hopefully we can meet other people that we haven't met yet. And continue to cross paths with other great people. So that's
Now,
really the joy for me now with these fests is
yeah.
connecting with people. So
Now, my now for me personally, it's probably going to be virtual for Chicago Fest because I really got some catching up to do with
yeah,
stuff. But
I
if I,
understood. Believe me, understood. I mean, if I wasn't in Michigan and just like 5 hours away, you
yeah,
know, I might not be going either. But it's just because I'm closer to Chicago. I'm gonna make the trip.
no, of course. Now, have you been to a Chicago Fest before? I forget if I've asked you
No,
this.
no. I
Okay.
mean, that's funny thing is like I lived in Chicago for 6 years, 2004 to 2009,
Mhm.
10 or whatever it was, and
Mm.
2010, and didn't go, didn't go.
Mm.
Kicking myself in the ass for that, but
I,
uh,
and, well, it's funny because I've got family asking me, okay, now that you've done this, do you think you could do both this in Chicago? I'm like, I don't know
right,
about this year. I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to see Chicago. I heard from somebody
right,
else. I won't name the person obviously here, but their take on it was Chicago was very much like a similar show, except their opinion was maybe a bit more laid back in certain ways, as opposed to
okay.
the East Coast Fest, a little bit of a different vibe. But you're right there. I think there's usually a Comic Con that happens about the same time, from what I understand.
Some same
So,
time, yeah, that's what Kit said last year. Was there was also you saw a lot of cosplay going on. A lot of people dressed up, so you got to see that was an extra added feature, I guess, if you went to last year's Chicago Fest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
you see,
But
also you have some pictures as well. I was just gonna double check with you on that. Besides some of the stuff you've
I mean,
shown.
I can show some pictures with some of the
Yeah,
people
go for it.
that that we met here. Um, let me go here. Okay. Um, here's there we go. There's Steve Holly. Okay.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool to meet
There's
him.
yep, yeah, and then yeah, there's LJ.
I've seen him somewhere before. I think.
Yeah, somewhere before. There's Uh, there's, now the guy in the middle, James, he played the Apple Jam. That's Joan as
Hmm.
well, but he did an amazing solo acoustic set. So he did all solo songs except for the last song, which was now he did Now and Then, and he did an amazing job with that. And great guy, and Joan is a wonderful person as well. But there's the panel we did the Talk More Talk Two Legs
Oh yeah.
panel, which
Yeah.
there
That
you
was
go,
fun
there you go
too.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked 1974. Um, you know, here's Gary Burr who worked with Ringo a lot during the Mark Hudson years. So we interviewed him on Talk More Talk before the fest. So it was cool to see him. The
Mhm.
always wonderful Kate Larkin.
Yes.
So yeah.
With Sirius,
Sorry if
yeah, with Sirius XM. And that
yeah,
was the
yeah,
thing.
seriously, yeah.
You guys did a good job, I think, especially the 1974 panel. That was interesting. And now, how did you all now? So this is turning into a little bit of an interview, but I guess that's fine. Like when you were doing the 74 panel during the fest. I mean, so how much preparation? I mean, obviously we've got four different people, kind of in four different sections of the country. You're trying to coordinate everything, coordinate all your notes. Who will ask what? How does something like that kind of come together? Pun intended.
Well, it was my turn to moderate, and like about 3 hours prior to, I wrote down my notes, and then and that was it. you
Oh,
know,
cool.
Ken had some notes. Joe and Andy just showed up, and that was it, really. I mean, look, I mean, we've done this for so long now. I
Yeah.
mean, we can wing it if you, pun intended. Um, and that's the thing. It's just you want to be prepared, you want to be ready. So yeah, I did jot some stuff down, but the stuff like that, I mean, doing it for 8 years now, it's kind of you know old hats, as they say. But it's a lot of fun because I mean, there's a lot of times. I mean, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. just
Yeah.
whatever pops up just pops up. But it's also super excited to meet Jay Bergen.
Yes.
And then that's Ken Michaels, right there next to him. As you know, Jay Bergen wrote the book was The Lawyer, the Mobster, and Lennon, the Lawyer, and the Mobster, something like that. But he was John Lennon's
Yes.
lawyer during that the whole rock and roll roots period, and great fella.
100%. When we were, because I believe we were all in that panel, if I'm remembering correctly, listening to him
Yeah.
talk. Honestly, I could have listened to him for another 2 hours. I would have been like,
Oh,
just shut the
easily,
rest of the fest down.
easily.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We're listening
easily.
to this guy. You know.
Yeah, easily. So I mean, there's more people. I mean, obviously, but yeah, I mean, so now August for the Chicago Fest, guests might differ. There might be
Mhm.
different guests. Some of the guests I think Juber usually attends both. I think Billy J. Kramer usually attends both. But they'll sprinkle in some other guests, different authors, different musicians. But either way, I mean, that's not the why I go. I go because, like I said, I want to meet everybody there.
Yeah, and I see where that could kind of differ. I mean, for me, the funny thing is for me, like, okay, 2002, I got to get Klaus Forman and I got to get Neil Innes's autograph on a
Oh yeah,
program,
yeah.
which was amazing. I mean, I'm like in my 20s. I had like practically no money at that point. different
Right.
life stage I was at. This time around, it's like, okay, I've got a list of people. Now I've gotten these folks.
Right.
I think the same. The next time, it's like, okay, now let's see, meeting people, kind of gathering together, very much like a family reunion, is what I heard a lot, over the
Yeah.
weekend.
Oh
Which
yeah.
was
I mean, yeah, and it's like for Joe, a lot of YouTube people show up. So I mean, it's almost kind of like a YouTube reunion in a way. So that's kind of cool. And again, it's just it's the love of the music, really. Everybody loves that music. So this is where we all get to geek out, for 3 days, and you know, have fun at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night.
totally. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, and that was part of it too. The so-called unscripted moments. Especially
Yes.
going back to Jay when I got to meet him and I got to say, "You're a hero." And he's very
Yeah.
polite about it. It's like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
did
He
something
gave us a
helping."
little scare. Yeah, he gave us a little scare that weekend, but he's okay. So
Oh, thank God.
that's
No, I,
good.
I saw him that weekend from my perspective. I saw
Yeah.
him coming out the elevator. I think I told you. And then,
Yeah.
his wife's going on by. He says, "I'm okay." I'm like, "Thank God." But I'm like, "Okay, he's okay, but is he going to come back and do the show?" And nobody would have faulted him for, going, "Yeah, I'm going to move back a bit."
Exactly. And we were yeah, that 74 panel was before him, so we're
Yes.
thinking, okay, we're he's not gonna show, and then at the 23rd hour, there he is, he's ready to go, and he gave a great hour's presentation, let me tell you. The
Yes.
the questions that he answered were fantastic. He's got a great memory. For 86 years old, I mean, he's doing great.
Fantastic. And that was the thing. I know I probably commented to you and to other folks very much a similar thing. It's like, other than maybe one or two slight details, he was sharp. He was on it. He was like, "Oh yeah, this like maybe
Yes,
one date." Besides that, he's like, "This is where we were. This is what happened. This is
right.
what I remember." Explaining it from the book. And God bless. Yeah, if I'm half that cognizant and aware at that age, if I should make it to
Mhm.
that age, God bless,
Oh,
I'd be in good shape. You know, I
yeah.
mean,
If we're walking at 86, without a, if we're not walking without any help, I'll be happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's I'll be my running joke is it'll just be something. Will just be the jacket and a plexiglass and me on the video screen. If I'm feeling
Yeah,
good.
you'll be buried in that jacket, won't you?
There's a possibility, but who knows? Or it could be a replica. The jacket could end up somewhere else. But one of the
All
best
right.
finds. But
It
don't.
belongs in a museum.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So do you, Dr. Jones, or whatever the line is. It's Coronado's Cross, damn it.
Oh,
No,
yeah. I've been wanting to watch the recent one, but for some reason I just can't. After Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I just which was half good and half you know terrible. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch the latest one.
I'm going to say better than Crystal Skull. And I rewatched it. I've watched it a few times outside the theater experience just to see. I think
Really?
it's
Okay.
tighter than Crystal Skull. Is it going to replace Raiders or Temple of Doom or Last Crusade? I would say no, but I thought it was a
Mhm.
very solid film and certainly kind of a step up, not giving too much away. There is a certain Beatles song that makes an appearance within the movie, which was very cool.
Yeah,
But
I heard. Yeah,
you heard,
yeah,
okay,
yep,
so you know about that, yeah,
yep.
which I was blown away in the theater, going, "Oh my god, that's when they were using what was it, "Sympathy for the Devil" for the promos, and then
Hmm.
the other song. I don't know if I want to spoil it here, but the other song pops up. You're going, "Of
Right,
course, that makes sense." That makes total
right.
sense. Yeah, and that's just the thing. I mean, just like I said, meeting people, connecting, a lot of fun memories, things to obviously look forward to as well. Kind of bringing it full circle. With the films, like I said, with the upcoming film, the 2027 with Sam Mendes. You know, hopefully they do it justice. I think that's the
Yeah,
the big thing. You know,
yeah.
um,
I mean, that's the hope. You listen. I want it to be good. I'm not over here saying it's gonna fail, it's gonna flop. I don't want
Yeah.
that. I mean, as Beatle fans, we want everything that's released with dealing with the Beatles to be successful, right? We all want it to be good. We want it to be great. We wanna show it off to the world. Say, look, my band still matters, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, what other band will have 4 separate movies dedicated to each in the individual in the band? No one else.
No.
So for that, I have hope for it, but my excitement level is not that high for it just yet until we get more information regarding the film, the casting,
Mhm.
and stuff like. And when do these films do they all end at the same time? At the same moment? Do they start? And that's another thing too. I was thinking about is like. Did they start at birth and then go right to when Ringo comes in to do "Love Me Do," or when he comes in, where does it end? Where does it start? So that's also going to be interesting as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know there's the running memes and stuff like that. So I think I've shared one or two of those with you,
Right.
offline here, where they say the what
Yeah.
is it, like the Marvel universe, the Beatles extended universe. You get Wings, you got Pete
Right.
Best,
Yeah.
all
That
this.
was yeah. That was a good. Whoever did that was
Yes,
good. That was good.
Broad Street
Pretty
Two. Broad
pretty
Street
good.
Two.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Broad
Yeah.
Street Two. Well, all right, maybe I gave my hopes up, even as much as I love it. But I mean, that's it. Just it. Where do you end it? Do you end it in 1980? Do you end it in 1990? Do you end it with the anthology? Do you bring it to some sort of current time? Well, now
Right.
then time for at
Right.
least two of the parties, or do you just go 1962 to 1970, which is a lot of material in and of itself?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's asking a lot of the fan base to go to 4 separate films. Um, but I got we're committed fans, right? We're gonna eat it all up, as they say.
Look, if I'm the person who has Broad Street on Laserdisc, DVD, all the
Right.
other formats,
Right.
be safe that I'm
VHS.
going to see them at least. Yeah, I'm going to see them at least once each, and just try to put it
Yeah.
all together whenever they come out
Yeah.
during that year, all at once, whatever the circumstance may
Right.
be. To
I mean,
get
look, I
out of.
just got my yeah. I mean, I just got my 24th copy of McCartney 3. It's just like
Hey, you know
it
what?
is what
It's
it
it's
is.
what we love. Well, especially and I'm noticing I love that behind you, by the way, the off the
Oh
ground
yeah.
Paul cutout there.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking of Off the Ground, also I got in the mail today was a copy of Off the Ground from Bolivia, uh, which is
oh,
you know, yeah, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, so I like to get the stuff from around the world, especially the picture sleeves from around the world, especially during the '70s. That's been a big passion of mine in the collecting field recently. So, which people know if they follow the Facebook page. So
yes. And I was happy to see them full, all full there.
yeah,
I think there was one of the jet suits I might have taken more than two pictures of, but
right.
we'll just leave it at that,
I
folks.
think I
But
know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
as research purposes, it's
Yes.
I had
Exactly.
seen that somewhere in a book before too, so I was like, oh, this is see it
That
actual.
I think it's in. It's in the if you get the if you have the Band on the Run archive set, the big book.
Yes.
I think it's in that. You'll see several different pictures of Jet and Band on the Run and Mrs. Vanderbilt 45s from around the world.
Yep, and that's why I'm trying to compile and put into the universe the Broad Street set. The hiking version and all that stuff as our running joke is now. That's
Right,
the other thing,
right.
real quick. One quick memory of Fest I have before we sort of get to our conclusion. At least for me, was Michael Ventrella. He does the Beatles charts book.
Yes, yes,
Gentleman.
yeah. I've talked with him, and playing someone we plan on having on the show as well. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful guest. I think it was interesting when he was doing that. There was only a couple of us in the room. So then all of a sudden Ken comes in. He's going, can I stay? Can I join? They're like, yeah, join ahead. So then it ended up being a Michael Ventrella and Ken Michaels
Yeah.
kind of collaboration, that was also interesting. Some of the unplanned stuff that came about.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think you guys ran into too much of
Oh,
that, or
Ken,
did you?
no. Unfortunately, I think we had something else going on at that point in time. But
Mhm,
Ken, Ken is a big charts guy. He's had Michael on his YouTube channel a couple
mhm.
times. We plan on doing something with him, regarding Paul and in the charts. So hopefully that'll happen in a few months. But yeah, good guy. Um, Very personable, very easy to very approachable. So, and that's the thing about a lot of these authors, I mean, they're all fans like we are, they want to, not only are they trying to sell books, but they also love talking about the Beatles as well.
And the solo stuff, especially, like I said, it's all our particular corners of the universe. I'm sure talking to, you
Right.
know, you or Andy might have more of a focus, or maybe Andy, especially about, let's say London Town, or Paul Sally with focusing on Jimmy McCulloch, more specifically the 70, 30
Right.
kind of
Right.
time period. It's interesting how it all
Which
comes
he's going to
together.
be in, yeah, Paul is going to be in Michigan here in a few months. I'm going to reach out to him and talk to him about it. But it's going to be up by the Upper Peninsula, which is quite a bit of a drive. But so yeah, he's gonna. I think he's doing some kind of Jimmy McCullough
Mhm.
presentation soon. So
I think I heard
be on the
about that.
lookout for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you can get the interview. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and sort of wrap it up here right now, but just want to give you an opportunity, future things you're working on, where folks can reach you. Of course, folks, tuning in, I'm obviously going to put the links down below in the description, but go for it, my friend.
Well, thank you again, Ed, for having me on. I know we tried to plan on doing something sooner, but then you had to go get the other McCartney guy on before us. So so for that, you get a thumbs down for that. But however, yeah, exactly. You're a competition now, so we can't share everything with you.
I know, but I mean, in,
Anyways,
in
and
general,
on
wasn't.
season. I know, but we love you. Don't worry. It's just, but anyways, yeah. So I'll start with Talk More Talk. You can go up to our YouTube channel. Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles videocast, and again, it's all solo Beatles. Every once in a while, we'll dip into Beatles stuff, especially if there's new releases, like all these anniversary box sets that have been coming out the last 5 years or so. So we're getting trying to get to the 2000K subscriber mark. We're getting close. So please check us out and subscribe. And then Two Legs, we're like less than 90 subscribers away from hitting the 2K mark. So if you haven't subscribed, again, please do. Check us out, Two Legs. That's with the number two and then legs. A Paul McCartney podcast. You can email us at twolegspodcast@gmail.com. We've already got our next 2 months of shows already scheduled out. I think we got some exciting stuff coming, some new series coming as well. So we're really looking forward to present what we have planned for you guys, and hopefully see both channels grow. Um, or continue to grow. I'm not going to say who we're going to have on, know, because I just, you don't want to get too excited and things fall apart. I
Yes.
remember many years ago, before Get Back was supposed to come out, we had lined up Michael Lindsay Hogg for an interview, and at the last minute, then that fell through. So we don't want to get too excited
No,
and
I
then
get it.
announce something and then have it fall through. But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. With both shows, and again, meeting people like you and other people that you know, do these shows as well. Since the pandemic, I mean, it seems like that it's doubled or even tripled,
Yeah.
in shows. I remember when I started Two Legs in 16, there was probably less than 10, I want to say. And then now it seems like there's over 50, Beatles related, YouTube channels or podcasts, so it's definitely taken off, and that's great because there's a lot to talk about. So there's plenty of room for everybody to to grow and have viewers and have fun and collaborate like we're doing now, right?
Yes.
Um, it's great. I've also met a couple at the fest. They do the Ranking the Beatles show, and I'm glad to say that I'm going to be doing a future episode with them on that. And I look forward to it. You know, so
Yeah,
so yeah, so that's it right now. Talk more talk and two legs.
definitely subscribe. I've been subscribed to Two Legs forever.
Yeah,
back in 1962 when we all started together. Kidding.
yeah,
Whatever it was, but no, all
yeah,
kidding aside, talk more talk, definitely, I'll be putting that in the description. And that's what I
yeah.
do love. I love that there is room for everybody. It is a very supportive community. I
Right,
mean, there can be, like I said, it can be a friendly competition, sure, but it's not like, okay, wait, I'm going to scoop this person and you're going to scoop that person. It's like, no, there's plenty of outlets,
right,
and yeah, I didn't want to get too
right.
excited about the LJ interview. I was excited behind the scenes, but I'm thinking, oh God, if this falls through, I don't want to specifically announce it. So I do understand that now,
Right.
or anybody, or
Yeah.
certainly anybody.
Mm,
You want to make sure everything is lined up as it should be. But yeah, but you know
yeah,
what?
exactly. Right.
We will definitely I will definitely have you back on. Hopefully Andy can also join us at some point, or I may do something separate with Andy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
combine all the forces.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent,
He loves
excellent, my
doing
friend.
this stuff too. I mean, this is kind of
Yeah,
like our escape, from life. It's just like we get on, and we talk about our kid, as Mike McGear would say, and
yes,
we have a good time doing it.
he's done rather well for himself, hasn't he?
Yes, a little bit, a
A
little bit,
little bit. I think a couple,
a little bit.
more successes than not. I think he might have a future in music. I'm beginning to think.
Could be. I am curious to see how many different color variants there will be on his next album, though.
I'm sure. I get the weird feeling something this year would be my guess. I could be wrong, and probably at
Hoping
least as
so.
many as McCartney 3 or as many variations as
Right,
Broad with the singles and remixes and stuff. But Tom, thank you
right.
so much. Again, look for Tom, of course, on the Two Legs Talk More Talk podcast, as you said. I'll link to everything below. For everybody, Tom, you've definitely given me a lot of support and inspiration over the years. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for everybody's
Thank you.
support.
Yeah,
Definitely. And you know what? Just thank you all for being there, for the people who've been there since the beginning, such as yourself, for the people who are now just joining, and for the new subscribers. So just a thumbs up, like, and subscribe is always appreciated. And till the next episode, we'll see you later.
Take care.